Hey guys, we're going to continue on with our lecture on WPF. For today, we're going to focus on all the other types of controls. So far, only thing you saw was buttons. Okay. But of course, there's so much more than buttons. There's even different types of buttons that we can deal with. So if you go to lecture number 5, you're going to see on slide number 4, I focus on your actual toolbox. So slide number 4 you want to look at. Okay. So I hope you guys have that open. All right, so if you open up your toolbox in your Visual Studio, you'll see the whole list of all different ones. Okay, some of the things you might have is a combo box, or maybe you have a radio button, or anything that you've seen. Basically, stuff you've seen in the windows when you actually go to, like say you walk into something in Microsoft, like you see a little pop-up button. Those are things you have to deal with. Okay. And of course, like I mentioned before, you have all these controls. Now, if you look at the properties view of your particular button, so if you double click your button, now right click on that particular button, now go to the properties view on the right hand side of that particular button, and now look at that part where you kind of have this little, kind of a thing like that. I forgot what it's called, like a lightning bolt. Yeah, you have a lightning bolt on that thing where it has a list of all the controls and events for that particular one. Okay. For the list of the controls and events, oops, you have stuff like the one we saw already, the click. You also have drop, drag over, stuff like that you can do with buttons. But of course, majority of the time, you're just going to click a button. Okay, but that gives you an option. Now, whatever name you give that particular one is actually what's going to correspond with the method that you're going to have in your C# code. Okay, all right. So that's what you see on slide number 5. Okay. Oh, and there's the lightning bolt thing on slide 6. So all you got to do is look at that slide for that one. Okay. What you're going to do now is add a label to your screen. So if you go back to your toolbox, now select label. Put it anywhere on your screen, and what we're going to do is make it so that when we make an event, then you can change that actual label. Okay. If you notice on slide 8, I actually kind of have a little template already made for you, where you want to have 2 text boxes, 1 button next to it, and a couple of buttons below it. So basically, we're going to make a little modified version of a calculator. So I want to give you guys some time, do all that stuff, and then come back to me, and I'll continue talking. Okay? So just pause it, I recommend, and then come back. All right? Okay. So what you want to do first is, like I say, for each of those things you have, give everything a name. So for the text boxes that you made for your thing, you want to give it a corresponding name for it. So maybe you want to call it, maybe you want it to be txt num1 or something. And maybe the other one you want to call it txt num2 and so on. And maybe the other one, like buttons, maybe you want to use, butt add. And so on and so forth. So basically, you want to give everything some meaningful name, and you can do the name change either in the XML code below or using the properties window. Okay? And then we're going to really take our time talking about how to code this up. But for that stuff, we're going to really make sure we kind of review all the concepts about how to do these buttons. So for every single button, such as the add, so the add button, you double click and you put the code of how do you get the text from one text box in the other text box, and then make it so that the things add together and then print to a label. Okay, so that one I'm going to leave for you guys to have a little bit of an exercise to think that one through. I'll give you some extra notes to really try that one out. Another one I want you guys to think of, okay, what if we have a button that already for sure is a 1 and a 2, but you want it for sure each time the person presses 1, then you're kind of making like a little mini calculator. Okay, so say you have a 1 button and a 2 button. So say I press 1 like a couple of times, and then I have a label below here. So this is my label. I'll just write label right here. And I press 1 a couple of times. So I say 1, 1, and then I press 2 another time, 2, okay? Now, if I have that combination, and then I say, okay, I want to add this one number to another number, so with a plus sign here, I have a plus, and then I want to add it to another number, and I say I press 2, 2, and then like a 1 or something. How do I make it so that I can get the values that I put from pressing these buttons added together and then printed to another label? Okay? All right. I just really put it at a place that you can't even see. So let me just do that again for you guys. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do this again. So say you have a 1, 2 for your button, okay? And then you tell the user, okay, press 1 so many times until you're going to calculate together. So we're just making like a mini calculator, but the calculator is, you know, a cheap one that only has 2 numbers, okay? And it also has a plus sign as a button and an equal sign. Now with these buttons, we're going to then use this to kind of emulate how things work. You have a label. So these, let's just make these our labels. And then when you're pressing the 1, the first couple of times, the values are going to go here. So you can have 1, 1, 2, for example, if you just pressed it that many times. Or if you press it in the other way, and then you have like a 2, so you put plus, and then you know that at that point you want to move over to your other label, and then you can press 2, 1. And then over here you have like this final output label that's then going to calculate what this value is plus that value is, and then print it out to the screen. Okay, that's my little exercise for you guys to try out. And talk amongst your class and see if you guys can really figure this out together. And then we're going to keep working towards this until you can eventually, for your next assignment, is actually a calculator. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about for assignment number 1 is what you're supposed to do. Assignment number 1 is required for you to work in pairs, so it's going to be pair programming. And what you're going to do with this one is, as a team, you're going to develop a calculator. Okay. Your calculator should have the basic functionality in terms of it should add more than just 1 and 2. It should be all the basic ones from a simple calculator. You know, plus, add, subtraction, multiplication, you know, every single little basic thing. In terms of aspects like scientific calculator stuff, that stuff I'm going to leave for extra credit, but we'll talk about that stuff a little bit later in terms of what you really need for that. Okay? All right. So I'm going to leave you guys some time to work on your assignments. So good luck, and I look forward to seeing you later.